Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Sunshine Speechie YouTube channel. I'm Nancy, and if you haven't been here before, please make sure to like and subscribe, and also don't forget to check out the Sunshine Speechie podcast, and check me out on Instagram at Sunshine Speechie. Okay, let's get into it. So, today I'm going to talk to you guys about 5 experiences to boost your grad school resume. And these can be regardless of if you're an out of major or you're an in major applicant. So especially if you're having a really hard time finding relevant experiences when you're an out of major applicant, this video is especially for you, but for everyone else, these also apply. So, first one is become an ABA therapist. ABA therapists work one-on-one with individuals who have autism, typically children. And I highly recommend this, first of all, because you're able to get hands-on experience working in therapy, which is pretty crazy to do before you have your bachelor's or master's. And the second reason is because you're working with children with autism, and you're likely going to work with the autistic population while you're in clinical, in grad school, or once you're out as a speech language pathologist. So it's giving you these really relevant experiences that you're going to be able to bring with you to graduate school, and colleges, when looking at your resume, are going to say, wow, they've got some pretty relevant experience. They've been able to work one-on-one with patients before. Second thing I'm going to recommend for you guys to do is to take ASL classes, or American Sign Language. So I recommend that because so many people have to use ASL in their sessions, whether their patient is deaf or hearing impaired. It's so important, but they also use it for children who are autistic or have severe intellectual disabilities or cognitive impairments. So for people who using language is just way too much motor planning, they use ASL as sort of a different form of communication. So it's so important and so amazing if you can become pretty good at ASL or even fluent before you become a speech language pathologist. Sadly, I started my ASL classes super late in the game, so I don't know that much, but even the little bit that I know has helped me so far just preparing for graduate school. And schools will be able to see that and think that it's pretty amazing that you've got some experience with ASL. Third thing, volunteer at a nursing home. Now, for those of you who are saying, but I want to work with kids, I want to work in peds, that's because everyone going into speech pathology now wants to work with pediatrics and they want to work with kids. So one of the main reasons that I recommend this is to set yourself apart, because it shows the graduate program that you're willing to work with other populations and that you're a little bit different from some of the other people that are applying. Second of all, because I personally thought for sure that I wanted to work in peds, and then I started volunteering at a dementia clinic and realized just how much I love working with adults as well. I still don't know which one I want to do, but I was so surprised at how much I loved working with adults. So even if you say to yourself, like, oh, I definitely don't want to work with adults, don't knock it until you try it. And I also recommend that because you're able to bring really whatever you want to the nursing home, because people are so grateful to have young people come in. It makes such an impact to have a young person there working with them and just boosting their mood. For me, I use music therapy, so I would come in and play songs from their past and just sing for them, and they would sing along with me, and I would see them just like brighten up and just, they would sing, even the ones who never talked, they would sing the whole song, and it was really just a moving experience. So honestly, I recommend it to everyone, and I think graduate schools will definitely see that, and it also helps you to work with populations who have dementia and aphasia and other age-related disorders. So that's also really cool as well, because I worked at a dementia clinic. I think I already mentioned that. So I got to work with people who had dementia and see what the signs and symptoms were, and see how they handled their everyday life. Okay, fourth thing I'm going to recommend you guys is research. If you know me at all, you know that I'm obsessed with research. I am just like a huge proponent that everybody should do research if they want to become a speech pathologist. So one reason that I recommend that is because a lot of people don't realize that speech language pathologists are evidence-based practices. They use evidence-based practices. And what that means is what it maybe sounds like, but it makes sense when you think about it. Because they're not going to conduct therapies that they don't show proven that work. They're not going to use something and say, well, I hope it works. So research is really important to the field of speech pathology because they have to constantly be trying to improve their treatment methods and improve their therapies and improve their ways of diagnosing. Really just anything you can think of, SLPs have to do research for. So it gives you really important and relevant experience if you're able to do research. And that's regardless of what field you do the research in. For me, my undergraduate, we didn't have any sort of speech pathology related course loads. So I did all my research in psychology. I did research in IO psychology. So it doesn't sound like it's related, industrial organizational, but I was able to do it in an ER. And so I got a really great experience in the medical setting. And then I also did research with child developmental psychology. So that's kind of related to speech pathology. And regardless of if it's related or not, you're getting those great research experiences, and conducting research is the same regardless of the field. So you'll have a lot of a great toolbox to bring when you go to graduate school. And it can also help build your connections with professors. So for me, I know 2 of my letters of recommendation were from my professors who I did research with. And, I really got to know them on a personal basis because I was meeting with them every week about what my research was and meeting with them one-on-one. So that's also great as well. So the 5th and final thing that I'm going to recommend for you guys is to join NISHLA. Now, for those of you guys who are sitting there saying, I thought you said that this was going to be relevant for everyone out of major and in major, we don't have a NISHLA chapter at my school. It doesn't matter, because when you join NISHLA, you're able to have so many great resources. You can choose a significant group, so that's SIG, and those are kind of focused on all different things. I joined a significant group about dysphagia because I thought it was really interesting. I realized that I wasn't that interested in it after I chose it, but that was kind of important that I was able to make that distinction. And then the second reason that I recommend you guys to join NISHLA is for the STEP program. So the STEP program joins you up with a current SLP, and they join an undergraduate or a graduate up with them, and you're able to talk about all of your concerns and everything about the speech pathology field. So for me, I paired up with a speech language pathologist from New York who worked in a medical setting, and he would just Skype me all the time, and we could talk about the difference between PhDs and just going for your master's, what was great about the medical setting and what was bad. And so it was really helpful to me because I learned so much about the field of speech language pathology through talking to him. And another great thing about that is that you're able to pick pretty much anyone who you want to be your mentor. So let's say you wanted someone who specifically does research with children or cognitive functioning, or you specifically wanted someone who lives in San Diego, California. You could find that person through their network and talk to them. And you're also not just limited to your mentor, you're able to talk to anyone. So for me, I talked to speech language pathologists at Vanderbilt and speech language pathologists at UT Dallas and all of the other programs that I applied to, just so that I could see what they thought of the program, how they thought I could help boost my resume, and how they liked the city, how they liked everything about it, just so that I wouldn't be, flying blind going into the future. So that's actually the end of my video. If you guys enjoyed what I had to say, please make sure to like and subscribe. For real, if anyone has any sort of questions at all, so please reach out to me on my Sunshine Speechie email or my Instagram. And if anyone has specific ideas for what they want to see in future videos or questions they want answered, please make sure to comment below. And once again, please make sure to check out my podcast, Sunshine Speechie, and my Instagram at Sunshine Speechie. I look forward to talking to you guys soon. Bye.